What's up, everybody? Welcome in episode 7. This is the Q. I am belligerent. Let's go. On today's episode, we're going to talk a little bit about rank attitude. Yeah, I'm kind of in a mood with the rank attitude that I see. You see it a lot in like the Twitch chat and other various places. Sometimes you see it in guilds, but just this. I don't get it. Maybe it's the only place that people have the opportunity to do this in their life, but I'm not sure. Like, I it it really it drives me. It just disgusts me the way that people like in Twitch chat and in other places, but mostly Twitch chat. And yeah, I know this is probably a wasted episode spending any time talking about Twitch chat and the toxicity that is Twitch chat, but all this talk about, well, you must be a tier 7 or whatever, or you must be a tier 4 if that's what you think, and blah, blah. Thinking you're better than somebody because your rank in a video game is higher? Come on. Like, that is so lame. And it's just it just drives, like, if you know what you're talking about, you know what you're talking about. And I got news for you. Being vainglorious does not mean you know that what you're talking about. So, God, can we just move past this? Uh, it's it drives me crazy. Okay, so one of the funniest experiences for me, one of the funnest things, one of the things that kind of makes me smile, crack up, whatever, in the moment is when in the past somebody like from my guild or whatever has found out that I was coach I was coach of Nova, or at the time coach for Gangstars or whatever. And they're like, "You're not even vainglorious rank. How can you be coach?" Well, you know, my mechanical skills, my ability to tap quickly on a screen has nothing to do with my understanding of the game. And I got more news for you that being a coach is not just about understanding of the game. Being a coach, especially in esports, from my experience, is more about managing personalities, trying to get everybody on the same page, trying to motivate people, trying to encourage people. But you also got to be able to point things. And in a lot of my experience, a lot of the things that teams need to work on in their gameplay is shit that you picked up in like tier 4, tier 5, like vision. I've literally had to work with every team I've coached on their vision, either placing vision or clearing vision or both. So just just because you're vainglorious, I don't care if it's silver, gold, bronze, blue, purple. Just because you're rank 10 doesn't mean you know more than somebody who's rank 6. I got news for you. I hate this rank attitude. This attitude of I'm superior than you because my rank is higher than yours. Rank is not everything. It really isn't. I feel somewhat confident that I can say I've accomplished a decent amount in the community of vainglory as far as being a coach and different things like that. You know what rank I am right now? Right now, I am rank 6. I am credible threat. Why? I was up at rank 8. That's the highest I've ever been, was 8 silver. And then they did the tier reset, and life got in the way. Coaching, job, podcast, casting, things like that. And I just don't have the time to really grind the rank out anymore. My rank is not who I am. And I got news for you. Your rank is not who you are. And if you identify yourself, if you identify your worth and your value and the value of people around you by what rank they are in a video game, you kind of need to re-examine how you value people. Like all right. I think that's probably about all I can spend on that topic. Again, I know it's a wasted conversation because it has to do with Twitch chat and primarily Twitch chat, but I see it in other in guilds and things of that nature. It's look, you either know or you don't know, but some people think they know more than they do. Some people like regurgitate things they heard on the stream or whatever, and look, you just don't know sometimes. Some people need to shut up and listen more than run their mouths. Stop trying to sound smart and learn. It's okay. You got to learn at some point. You can't just know hell, when I started as a coach, I needed to learn stuff still. I still don't know everything about the game. There are still things about this game where I scratch my head and I have no idea why this worked or why it didn't. So yeah, this episode might be two different topics because, I was really in a mood when this episode started about the rank attitude, but I kind of vented on that, and let's couple it with a different topic here that is kind of similar, but drafting, the drafts. It's another thing that I see in Twitch chat a lot, but I've also heard it from analysts and Twitter and all different types of things. And let's be honest, one of the biggest, if not the biggest reason that teams in the VGA or in challengers or hell, probably even in rank matches lose, one of the biggest influences is draft. I used to say that 90%, maybe it's 85, 80, maybe it's 70. I don't know exactly, but the point that I was trying to make is a good majority of matches are won and lost in draft because people can't draft well. People don't understand draft. People don't understand the theory or the strategy behind draft. And there's, it's easy to be kind of an armchair quarterback, sit there and watch a stream, and then question every draft that you see. Yes, some teams make mistakes in drafts. But there are so many other factors. Like, one thing that a lot of people don't realize is that while, yes, pros can play almost every hero, it doesn't mean that they can play them to a professional level. Right? Just like you can play every hero to some degree, it doesn't mean you can play them at a good enough level to get your rank up. So one thing you have to take into consideration when you're drafting is who can the players on your team actually play? Because yes, there might be a great counter on the board, but if Taka is the counter and your jungler just is not good at Taka, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how good the counter pick is. If they don't know how to play it, why would you pick it? And people just get like, oh, they threw draft. You don't know all the ins and outs of that team. You don't know what they're good at, what they're not. You don't know. It's really easy to question drafts after the fact. And a lot of people don't take into consideration the order of the draft when they're talking about it. But there's other strategies to drafting that people seem to not understand, such as baiting a team into another pick or into another ban, right? Just because let's say I'm on B side and I ban Petal with my second ban. Well, everybody says that, that's showing that you want to pick Kroll. Yeah, or it could just be me making sure that they ban Kroll so I can pick who I actually want to pick. Right? And if they don't ban Kroll, then they just open that pick up for me, yes. I think back to the live event in LA, Nova versus C9, and in the one match that we did manage to beat C9 in. I forget who they picked first, but our first pick on B side was Batiste, and then we banned Petal, right? We were telegraphing a Kroll pick, and we really and they said it. They said it even after the match. When they came over and shook our hands after beating us in that series. Gabe Vizzle said, you guys really put us in a corner in that draft, because what we did is we picked Batiste first, and then we banned Petal, telegraphing a Kroll pick. Well, with Starboy on Batiste and Delphi on Kroll, that's a really strong front line, and that's how we like to play. Even though it wasn't necessarily what we were going for, we were putting that on the board for us. So now C9 had a choice to make, right? They either had to ban Kroll because we just took away the counter to Kroll, or they had to ban Catherine because they didn't want Batiste Catherine to go through, and then they had to give us the Kroll. And they ended up doing the latter. They banned the Catherine. They gave us the Kroll. We end up winning that match. So there's strategies that go beyond what a lot of the casual viewers seem to understand. Target banning people. When somebody is... But at the same time, here's another thing. Like, if you know that a team plays a certain comp, picks, if you know a team is like a one trick, for example, quick example, and I'm not even necessarily calling them a one trick, but an example that pops into my head is, that by the end of the challenge battles, everybody knew that Team Hazard was going to pick Rona. Rona's decently strong. I don't know that she's a first pick every time hero, but definitely Hello Kitty's comfort pick there, right? So everybody knew that he was going to pick Rona if they didn't ban it. Well, you can also let that through, because let me tell you something. When I'm trying to plan a draft, the best thing for me to know is who the other team's going to pick. And so you don't necessarily always need to ban it from them if you think you can counter it. Now, that's the catch. Can you build a counter comp? Look, I can counter any comp because every hero in the game has counters. The question is, how good can the team you're drafting for play that counter comp? Because again, a counter comp is only as good as the people that are playing it. So yes, if you can play the counter to the same level as the person who's playing the hero you're trying to counter, sure, you can counter the comp. So you have to keep that in mind. But if I know a team is going to pick a certain thing, why would I ban it away? That gives me the upper hand because I know what they're going to pick. I know what they're going to do. So, there's lots of strategies. And it's like, if a team doesn't go into a draft prepared, and I've seen this a lot of times, I've been part of it because, like I said in my last episode, my time for coaching and for prepping has really dwindled. So I wasn't able to prep the way that I wanted to, especially this past season. But if you're in the draft trying to figure out everything they may or may not do, trying to figure out if your pick is a good pick and how they can counter it and all of that stuff, in the 30 seconds that you got, it's tough to make those decisions, especially when you're trying to coordinate between 3, 4, 5 people that are all in the voice chat. So yeah, it's easy to sit there and watch a broadcast and go, oh, well, they threw this draft. Let's see you do it. Why aren't you doing it? Armchair quarterbacks. So everybody in the chat that watches these broadcasts act like I'm watching the challenge battles and seeing so many people just kind of rag on Xenotech. If you're so good and he's so bad, why aren't you in the fucking VG8? Huh? People, come on. Like, I know some people have no life. I'm one of them. But some people have no life, and they choose to spend their entire time trolling people. Like, is it really that bad for you? Is your self-esteem really that bad? You got to go rag on other people. You got to go be a troll. There's time for trolling, and there's time for fun trolling, and I know everybody is now listening to this episode going, oh my God, I can't believe that he just wasted a whole episode talking about Twitch chat. Everybody knows Twitch chat is toxic, and it's BS, and you just don't pay any attention to it. Okay, I get it. I know. I wasted an episode talking about Twitch chat, but I'm in a mood and I felt like venting and I did it, and I hope you enjoyed it. And if not, come back for the next episode. Give me another shot. But if you do enjoy it, make sure you follow me on Twitter. Talk to me on Twitter. I'm also doing this weird Curious Cat thing that I found where you can ask me anything. So look that up on the Curious Cat thing. Throw me some questions. I've gotten some really great questions, and maybe we'll turn it into an episode. Like I don't know what exactly it would be called, but maybe instead of speculation Sunday, maybe we do social Sunday or something like that. I don't know, and I'll read the questions that people give me on this Curious Cat site, and I'll answer them in an episode once a week or something. So throw me some questions there. Hit me up on Twitter. Like, comment, subscribe on the YouTube. Listen to us on iTunes. Somebody earlier today asked me if I could get my podcast on Spotify, because watching it on YouTube was not always convenient. Like if you're listening while you're working out or something like that, you don't want to have to play the video. Well, you can also find us on YouTube. Now, here's the trick. If you go on YouTube and you're searching the podcast, put in my name, BLG3RNT Belligerent. Again, BLG3RNT. That will pull up the show. If you search for the Q, you're going to find a whole plethora of podcasts. A couple of them named the Q also, but other ones that have the word Q in them, like the movie Q or things like that. So it can be a little difficult to find us, especially because our podcast is so new. But if you just search my name, Belligerent, BLG3RNT, in the iTunes Podcast Center, our show is the only one that will pop up. So you can find us on iTunes, subscribe to us on iTunes, and get all the automatic downloads and goodies like that. But we would, I would also appreciate it if you would subscribe to the YouTube channel, things like that, like, comment, subscribe. Share with your friends if you really like these episodes. Really appreciate all the support. Gonna start doing something, some kind of giveaway here soon, especially if we can increase the number of listeners and subscribers and things like that. But I want to start giving away maybe some ice, maybe a scarf plush. Maybe we'll figure out some things to give away. So everybody, this was the Q. I am Belligerent. This was episode 7. Thanks for listening.